Hello everyone, welcome to me and Maths. Welcome to the live stream session of today. So today we will be doing some questions on quadrilaterals, right? And as most of the time there are very few students who are there in the live stream for class ninth. So let's wait for, let us say, 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can continue the session as if the students would be seeing these lectures later on. So as you guys already know, I said that today we would be doing quadrilaterals. And before quadrilaterals, as usual, what we do, we announce the star student of the week, we announce the voice of learners chat screen, and we give shout out to the students who are there. So if there is any student who is there in the live chat, just drop down a hello or good afternoon, any message in the chat. है ना? So let us see who is the star student of the week this time.
3, 2, 1.
So we have the star student of the week, right? We have the star student of the week on the screen. He's Adam John. Adam John is the star student of the week. And we have Trijal Sharma. Trijal Sharma, right? So many congratulations to all of you who are there in the live chat or the star students of the week, right? For attending the session. So we have the first question, है ना? First puzzle for today. We have the first puzzle for today. A sphere has 3, a circle has 2, and a point has 0. What is it? A sphere has 3, a circle has 2, and a point has 0. What is it? So anybody who can answer this question, it's very good. है ना? If there is anybody who can answer this question. Anybody who has a clue of this answer? Anybody who can answer this question? It's very good. So dimensions would be the answer, right? Dimensions would be the answer for this puzzle. A sphere has 3, a circle has 2, and a point has 0 dimensions. है ना? क्योंकि sphere तो 3D shape है, right? Circle is 2D और point तो dimensionless होता है, right? Now we'll see who is the voice of learners, who all students are there in the voice of learners screen, right? So Ayush is here, then Neetu Kumari is here, Rohan is here, Abhinaya is here, Kirat Virdi is here. So all the students who have attended the past live stream sessions and a long time back, so they are there in the voice of learners chat of class 9th. So many congratulations to all of you. And today also we would be doing some questions on quadrilaterals. So we will be doing a quick concept revision of quadrilaterals and then we can move on to solve the questions. So today we would be doing quadrilaterals. So before starting the chapter quadrilaterals, right, what we should be knowing about? We should be knowing about, let us say, all the properties. We should be knowing about all the properties, right? Properties of quadrilaterals, right? Then the second thing is what? Second thing is midpoint theorem. Midpoint theorem and its converse. Third is obviously angle sum property. It's very important. Angle sum property of triangle as well as of quadrilaterals, right? So these three things are very important. Let's quickly revise what are the properties, right? So how many types of quadrilaterals are there? Especially we have square, then we have rectangle, and then we have a parallelogram, and then of course we have a rhombus. So now how many sides of squares are there, right? 4 sides, and all these 4 sides are what? Equal, and all 4 angles are also equal. The diagonals bisect each other and intersect at 90 degrees, right? Now next is what? Rectangle. Opposite sides are equal and parallel. In rectangle all the angles are 90 degree, but the diagonals are equal and bisect each other. That's it. They are not at 90 degrees. Now next is what? Next is parallelogram. In a parallelogram, diagonals are equal and bisect each other. Opposite sides are equal and parallel. That's it. Opposite angles are equal, and the adjacent angles, the sum would be equals to, let us say, 180 degrees because of co-interior angle property, right? Now what we have rhombus, right? The diagonals bisect each other at what? At 90 degree angle, and all the sides are equal. All the sides are equal and the diagonals bisect each other at what? 90 degree angle. So this is what, let us say, all about the properties of, let us say, special types of quadrilaterals. And then we can move on to, let us say, what is the next thing, that is midpoint theorem. So what does midpoint theorem say? What does midpoint theorem say? The midpoint theorem says that the line joining the midpoints of two sides, the line joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side, and half of it, right? And is half of it. So this is what? This is the midpoint theorem. And converse theorem, what is it? And the converse theorem, right? So if a line is parallel to the third side, right, and is joining the midpoint of one side, then automatically what? It will join the midpoint of the other side as well. Okay, so this is, let us say, the midpoint theorem and its converse. Then we have the properties of parallelograms on the same base, right? Parallelograms, if two parallelograms are there on the same base and between the same parallels, two parallelograms, right, they are on the same base, means their bases are same. Let us say A, B, C, D, and let us say this is PQ. So parallelogram ABCD and parallelogram PQCD, right? So CD is common between these two, right? So if two parallelograms are there and they are on the same basis and between the same parallels, their areas would be equal. So area of ABCD would be equal to area of PQCD. This is what the theorem for parallelograms say. And if a triangle is there, so triangle's area would be half of the area of parallelogram. right? So triangle's area, for example, let us say any triangle is there, है ना? For example, if any triangle is there, right, and a parallelogram is also there, let us say, and let us say this is AB, CD, and let us say this is P. So area of PCD would be equals to half of ABCD, right? Why? Because triangle's area is half into base into height, and the area of parallelogram would be simply base into height. That is why it's what half. So now next is what angle sum property. So angle sum property says means all these angles are what 360 degrees. The sum of A plus B plus C plus D, right? A plus B plus C plus D is what 360 degrees. This is the property that we know from the smaller classes, right? Now, if any of the student who's there in the live chat just drop down a hello in the chat. I can see 3 students here. One is me. Okay, I am watching the live chat. So obviously 2 people are there in the live chat. If anyone is here, just drop down a hi in the chat and we can move on to, let us say, the first question for the class. So this is the first question for today's live stream session. Okay, so we are given some options, right, in 2 columns. We are given 2 options, column 1 and column 2, and in these columns 4 options are there. We have to match them, right? We have to match them. So what should be, let us say, the solution for this? What should be the solution for this question? What should be the solution for this question? We have option A, we have option B, option C, and option D. Option A, B, C, and D. What should be correct? If any student is there who is there in the live chat, just drop down a hello in the chat. If any student who is there in the live chat, just drop down a hello. Okay, so how we'll do this question, right? If ABCD is a parallelogram, the first option. If ABCD is what? If ABCD is a parallelogram, then sum of angles X, Y, and Z. Sum of angles X, Y, and Z is what? Is 125 or 180, is 50 degrees or 90 degrees. Okay, if ABCD is a rhombus where angle D is equals to 130 degree, angle D is 130, then the value of X, right? If ABCD is a rhombus, then the value of W, right? If ABCD is a parallelogram where X plus Y is 130 degrees, then the value of angle B, right? So we are given 4 options. अगर हम इसमें से कुछ options भी if we know, right? From these questions, if we know any of the 2 options, 3 options combination is correct, then we can easily solve this question, right? If any student who is there in the live chat, just drop down a hello in the chat. Today I can see many people who are there in the live chat. This rarely happens. If any student who is there in the live chat, just drop down a hello, right? I'm waiting for your chat to appear. Okay, so now let us say which we should spot which is the easiest option in these type of questions. So obviously we can see our option is the easiest, right? If ABCD is a rhombus, then the value of W is what? See, we already knew the property, right? The diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other at what? Sorry, the diagonals of a rhombus, right? They bisect each other at 90 degrees, right? So obviously if ABCD is a rhombus, then the value of W would be what? 90 degrees. So R is 4, right? Yes or no? So now if we see what does option R says, three option, so this would be definitely wrong. This says 2, this is definitely wrong. This says 4, right? So this is correct, right? And the last option says for R 3, right? So this is also wrong. So we can easily say that C option would be correct. Yes or no, bachcho? So that is why C option is correct. If we further want to solve, let us say all these questions, we can easily solve them, right? If ABCD is a parallelogram where x plus y is what? 130 degrees. X plus y is what? 130 degrees. So we can easily calculate the value of angle B, right? Using angle sum property, right? Now, if ABCD is a rhombus where angle D is equals to 130 degree. Angle D is 130, right? So value of x would be what? The co-interior angles half, right? Because angle C would be co-interior angle. So that would be what? 30, 50 degrees, right? Now angle x would be half of 50, right? So that is why it should be 25. Yes or no, bachcho? See how easy these questions are. X plus y is 130, right? If you have calculated this, x plus y is 130. So 180 minus 130 is what? Again 50, right? So angle B is what? 50. That is why it should be angle, the option 3, right? For S. So we see that obviously option C is correct. Yes or no? So now let us move on to the next question. In quadrilateral PQRS, PR and QS bisect each other at M. If PMS is equals to 90 degree, then quadrilateral PQRS is dash. Then quadrilateral PQRS is a dash, right? So we have to identify whether PQRS is a trapezium, kite, rhombus, or parallelogram. Again, a very easy application of, let us say, the properties of different types of quadrilaterals, right? So basically, students, what we do in these type of questions, we read a phrase of this problem and we try to draw the diagram, right? The key lies in drawing the diagrams in which the diagram is not given. If you have drawn the diagram or figure correctly, then half of the problem is already solved, right? PQRS is there, right? Quadrilateral PQRS is there, let us say. PR and QS, right? Let us say this is P, Q, R, and S, right? PQRS is a quadrilateral. Diagonals are there, PR and QS, right? So we join the diagonals PR and QS, okay? Bisect each other at M. So this is the intersection point, that is M. So PM is equals to what? MR, and MS is equals to what? MQ, right? So these are the, let us say, two diagonals, right, which are bisected by each other, right? If angle PMS is what? 90 degree, angle PMS is 90 degree, right? This angle is 90 degrees, right? So we easily know that the diagonals of a rhombus bisect each other at what? Right angles, right? So obviously it should be option C, right? Yes or no, bacho? So this was, let us say, one of the easiest question for today's live stream session. Okay, this was the easiest question for today's live stream session because this was a direct application of the property of rhombus. Yes or no? We also discussed in the first 15 minutes of the live stream, right? What are the properties of different types of quadrilaterals as well. Again, I'm saying if there is any student in the live stream who is present, just drop down a hello in the chat. Okay, so now moving on to the next question, right? PQRS and ABCD are two parallelograms. We have to find the value of x. Again, one of the easiest questions of, let us say, properties of parallelograms. Okay, if any student who is there in the live chat, just drop down an answer for this question. If anyone is present who can answer this question. Is there anybody who can answer this question? We have to find the value of angle x. We are given angle A is equals to 100 degrees and angle Q is what? 60 degrees. So anybody who can answer this? How can we find the value of angle x? Anybody who can answer this question for me within a minute? Actually, this question is not very tough, but so. Okay, so let us see. I'm not getting any responses from you all. Okay, 5 students are there now in the live chat. Anybody who's there in the live chat, just drop down a hello or a hi so that we can move on to solve the questions. Be active. If any of the student is here, let us say, if any student is here, be active, right? Try to participate in the chat so that we can have, let us say, a conversation. So if I exclude myself who's present in the live chat, so 4 people are there, right? 4 people are there. But still today no one is answering any of the questions. No one is interested. I do not know why. Okay, so now let's move on to solve this question, right? ABCD and PQRS are parallelograms. है ना? So ABCD is a parallelogram. ABCD is a parallelogram. This ABCD is a parallelogram, right? So obviously angle A plus angle D would be what? 180 degrees, because AB is parallel to CD, right? So angle A and D would be co-interior angles. है ना? So angle D's value would be what? Angle D's value would be obviously 80 degrees. है ना? Now we can see in other parallelogram, right? In parallelogram PQRS, right? In this parallelogram, what can we see? We can see that opposite angles are equal, right? Opposite angles are equal. So angle S is equals to angle Q, right? So that would be 60 degrees, right? So now what we can see in this triangle SDO. Now in triangle SDO, we can apply angle sum property of a triangle, right? So x plus 80 plus 60 would be what? 180 degrees. So that is why x would be what? X would be what? 180 minus 80 minus 60, right? So that would be simply 40 degrees. So that is why option number D, right students? Option number D would be the correct option. Option number D, right? The value of x would be what? 40. कुछ भी नहीं था इस क्वेश्चन में. 7th क्लास का बच्चा कर सकता है इस क्वेश्चन को. It is this much easy question. Now let us move on to the next question. In the given figure, ABCD is a rhombus whose diagonals intersect at O. If E and F are midpoints of AO and BO respectively, then find the length of EF. Then what we have to do? We have to find the length of EF. So now we have to locate the points EF, है ना, in this figure. E and F are not there in the figure, so we have to construct E and F, right? ABCD is rhombus whose diagonals intersect at O. The diagonals intersect at O, right? So E and F are midpoints of AO and BO. E and F are midpoints of AO and BO. So AO का midpoint क्या है? E. BO का midpoint क्या है? F, right? We have to find the length of EF. We have to find the length of EF. We already know what is AO. We already know what is AO, right? Anybody who knows how to solve this question? Actually, this is also very easy, right? Right. So see, diagonals of a rhombus, what they bisect each other at what 90 degrees, right? So triangle AOB is what? Right angled triangle. Triangle AOB is a right angled triangle, yes or no? Right angled triangle. Abhi, if anybody who knows Pythagoras theorem can easily solve this question, ab jisko nahi aata, he would be stuck. So what is Pythagoras theorem? Base square plus height square is equals to what? Hypotenuse ka square, right? So now AO is what? AO would be half of 12, right? So that would be 6 square. BO would be half of 16, right? So that would be 8 square. Is equals to what? AB square, right? वही तो hypotenuse है, right? So 6 square is what? 36. 8 square is 64 is equals to AB square. So we can easily say AB would be root of 100, so that would be 10. AB would be root of 100, so that would be 10. Now, this is easily 10, right? This is 10 centimeter. Now, E is the midpoint, F is the midpoint. So by midpoint theorem, we can say that EF would be what? Half of AB, right? EF would be half of AB by midpoint theorem. So we can easily say EF is what? We can easily say EF is what? Half of 10. 5 centimeter. Yes or no, bachcho? That would be 5 centimeter. Now, there is a different approach to this question as well. There is a different approach to this question as well, right? हम दूसरे तरीके से भी इस क्वेश्चन को कर सकते हैं, right? For example, let us say this A, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, this is O, right? So this was E, this was F, right? E and F were midpoints, right? So this was 16 and this was what? This was 12, right? So now AO would be what? AO would be 6. E is the midpoint, so that is why EO would be 3, right? EO would be 3 centimeter because AO ka midpoint hai, right? Half of AO. Similarly, we can also calculate OF, right? So half of OD, है ना? Half of OD uska bhi half. So that would be 16 ka 1 by 4. So that would be simply 4. Yes or no? So that would be simply 4 centimeters. है ना? क्योंकि ये 16 है तो इसका इतना पार्ट कितना हो जाएगा? इसका OB का पार्ट कितना हो जाएगा? OB का पार्ट would be simply OB का पार्ट would be simply 8 और 8 का हाफ कितना हो गया? 4, right? Now we can apply Pythagoras theorem in triangle EOF, right? We can also apply because angle O is still 90. So 3 square plus 4 square is equals to EF square. So that is why 3 square plus 4 square. 3 square plus 4 square is equals to EF ka square. So 9 plus 16 again what we get 25 is equals to EF square. So EF would be what? EF would be simply 5 centimeter. So दो तरीके we solved 2 methods to solve this question, है ना? 2 methods to solve this question and also one of the easiest question, है ना? Okay, so now let us move on to the next question. Actually, this is a good question for today. ये एक अच्छा question है. We have a good question. In the given figure, not drawn to scale. In the given figure, not drawn to scale. In the given figure, not drawn to scale. What we have to do? We have to find the angle EBF. We have to find the angle EB and F. ABCD is a quadrilateral. Two sides are given parallel. AE is parallel to DC. BE is parallel to AD. AE intersects BC at F. We have to find angle EBF. Any clue? We would be using, let us say, properties for parallel lines and the angles and properties or exterior angle properties, let us say, in these type of questions, because we have to find the unknown angles, right? We have to find the unknown angles, so we would be using the properties of lines and angles, or the angle sum property, or either the exterior angle property in these type of questions. So if we know all these properties, so this is very easy, right? So what are the properties, right? Let us quickly see what are the properties. So if two parallel lines are there, so these two angles are what? Co-interior angles. Let us say this is angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So angle 1 is equals to angle 5, that is corresponding. So that is equals to, let us say, and what we can say that also angle 3 is equals to angle 7 corresponding, angle 4 is equals to angle 8 corresponding, right? So these are all corresponding angles. We also have angle 2 is equals to angle 6. Now co-interior angles are what? Angle 4 and 5, angle 3 and 6, so their sum would be what? 180 degrees, right? So this property which we will use extensively in this question, the co-interior angles, है ना? Now what we can see is this angle AFB would be what? 97 degrees, because it is corresponding angle, right? Angle DCF and angle AFB. Angle DCF is equals to angle AFB is equals to angle 97 degrees. Why? Because it is corresponding angle. It is corresponding angle. Now what to do next? है ना? So अभी exterior angle property is given, so we have to find, let us say, EBF, right? So we have to find this angle, this angle. Now we should know that what is this angle FEB, right? So we can apply exterior angle property to this question, है ना? And we can find out. So now our primary target is to find the value of angle E. So if we need to find the value of angle E, then we need this angle, right? Angle EAB, right? We have to find angle EAB to get the value of angle E, so that we can find angle B, है ना? Now see beta, CD and AE are parallel. CD and AE are parallel, so this means this angle CDA and DAF, angle CDA and DAF, angle CDA and angle DAF would be what? 180 degrees, because they are what? Co-interior angles. Yes or no? They are what? Co-interior angles. CDA plus DAF, CDA DAF. So 110 plus angle A. So that is why angle DAF would be what? Angle DAF would be what? 180 degrees minus 110 degrees. So that would be simply 70 degrees, right? That would be simply 70 degrees. Now, in order to find this value of angle, right, we need to find the whole angle, yes or no? हमें इस पूरे एंगल को पता होना चाहिए, so that we can subtract 70 and find this value. So to find this whole angle, what we can do? We can apply angle sum property, right? We can apply angle sum property to this question. What is angle sum property? 1110 plus 97 plus 73. 1110 plus 97 plus 70 degrees plus angle A is equals to what? 360 degree. So this is what angle sum property. So angle A would be what? 360 minus 9716 plus 117, 17 plus, right, 17 plus 1110, that would be simply 280, right bachcho? So 280 So 360 minus 280 is what? Simply 80, right? So angle A is what? 80 degrees. Angle A is what? Angle A is what? 80 degrees we have. अभी एंगल ए की वैल्यू 80 डिग्रीज आ गई है बच्चों. सी दिस होल एंगल इज व्हाट? 80 डिग्रीज. और ये बड़ा वाला छोटा सा जो पार्ट है इसका, दैट इज 70. सो द रिमेनिंग वुड बी 80 minus 70, that is 10 degrees, right? Now we can apply angle sum property in triangle, let us say AEB, correct? We can apply angle sum property in triangle AEB, right? We can apply angle sum property. We can apply angle sum property in triangle AEB. So अभी triangle AEB में angle sum property लगाएंगे, right? Can we apply actually angle sum property in triangle AEB? No, we cannot apply angle sum property because to find the angle E we should be knowing angle B. तो angle B तो हमको find ही करना है, right? Angle B तो हमको find ही करना है actually. So what we'll do now? So अभी problem है हमारे सामने कि अभी हमको angle E भी find करना हो सकता है. So this is 97, right? Now beta, what also is given in the question is what? एक important चीज. This AD is what? Parallel to what? This AD is parallel to BE. This AD is parallel to BE, and beta, if you can see, this line is a transversal. This line is a transversal. So now what we can easily do? What we can easily do, beta? What we can easily do? This angle E would be 70 degrees. This angle E would be 70 degrees, yes or no? Because these are what? Alternate angles. Angle DAE would be equal to AEB. Angle DAE is equals to angle AEB. That is what? 70 degrees, है ना? Because it is what? Alternate angle. Alternate angle. Now अभी हमारे पास ये 70 आ गया, ये 97 है, and this angle B, angle EBF we have to find, right? Angle EBF. So exterior angle property लगा सकते हैं क्या? Angle AEB plus angle EBF is equal to what? Is equals to angle AFB. Is equals to angle AFB. Angle AFB, right? So angle EBF is equals to 97 degrees minus 70 degrees. तो आंसर क्या हो गया बच्चों? 27 degrees. So that is why आंसर D हमारा करेक्ट हो जाएगा. Option D would be the correct option. I hope everybody understood कि हमने इस क्वेश्चन में क्या किया. I hope सभी को समझ में आया, right? So what is the first step? What is the first step beta? What is the first step? Let us quickly revise. So अभी यहाँ पर हमने सबसे पहले क्या किया? सबसे पहले we found out this angle because this is corresponding. So this is 97. फिर हमने क्या किया? फिर हमने ये कोइंटीरियर एंगल निकाला, दैट इज 70 डिग्रीज. फिर हमने ये पूरा एंगल निकाला. वी कैलकुलेटेड दिस होल एंगल. ये होल एंगल निकाला. वी कैलकुलेटेड दिस होल एंगल, दैट इज व्हाट? 80 डिग्रीज. नाउ दिस छोटा वाला एंगल वुड बी 10 डिग्रीज. These two lines are parallel. So if this is 70, है ना? So this will also be 70. Now this would be what? 97 minus 70. So that would be simply 27 degrees. So that is why 27. Okay, this was a really good question. I hope everybody understood it. Now we can move on to the next session for today. So the next question for today we have in this given figure. We have to find the value of angle x. We have to find the value of angle x. How we can find the value of angle x? How we can find the value of angle x? इसमें हमको AB is parallel to CD is given. AB parallel to CD is given and we have to find the value of x. So how can we find the value of x? How can we find the value of x? एक construction छोटा सा. Now we can easily find out the value of x. Right? Now we can easily find out the value of x. If A is 50, right? AB is parallel to CD. If we produce CD, so this will still be parallel to AB, right? So this angle would be 50, and we can easily apply what? Exterior angle property, right? Exterior angle property. Very, very important property. Most of the students tend to forget this. They start to apply angles and property. They will find, let us say, this angle to be 80. Now they will again apply angles and property. So again, that becomes a lengthy process. If we know how to, let us say, apply exterior angle property, so this becomes comparatively a shorter method, है ना? So 100 minus 50, x is equals to what? 100 degrees minus 50 degrees, so that is what? 50 degrees. So that is why answer option D, right? That is why option number D should be correct. Option number D should be correct. So this was also one of the easiest question, but let us say a small construction we had to do in this question. So again, I would say this was a really easy question. Okay, so now this is one of the important questions which we are solving in today's live stream session, where L, M, N are the midpoints of the sides QR, RP, PQ respectively of what? Of triangle PQR. QM intersects the line LN at U, RN intersects the line LM at V. So then UV is equals to what? UV is equals to K times QR. UV is equals to K times QR. So ये कैसे find करेंगे? How we will find this value of K? So again, this is let us say a whole lot, let us say a lengthy question in itself. So anybody who can just let me know how to solve this question. So QR, RP and PQ के midpoints हैं L, M and N, right? L, M and N are what? Midpoints. And it is not mentioned whether this triangle is equilateral or isosceles or what. So we will not consider any of those options. So by midpoint theorem, students, what we can see, NM is parallel to what? QR, correct? And NM is what? Half of QR, right? NM is equals to half of QR. So opposite sides are what? Opposite sides are what? Equal and parallel. So NM is equals to what? NM is equals to what? QL, correct? Also NM is equals to what? Let us say LR, है ना? So now if I try to highlight this, so बच्चों, this side and this side is what? Equal and parallel. If opposite sides are equal and parallel, so this means what? This means what? This means what? It is a parallelogram, right? Also beta, if we see this L and M are midpoints, right? L and M are midpoints. So by that logic, QN and ML would be equal, right? LM and QN would be equal, but let us say they would not be equal to NM, right? They would not be equal to NM. So these two sides again would be equal and parallel. So we can say that this triangle, let us say this parallelogram, this parallelogram, just a second, this parallelogram QLMN, right? This is a parallelogram, right? And the diagonals of a parallelogram, what? The diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So this means what? U is the midpoint. U is the midpoint, right? Similarly, what we can do? Similarly, bachcho? Similarly, we can say that NMLR is a parallelogram. Similarly, we can say that this NMLR is what? A parallelogram, right? And the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So this means that V is the midpoint of, let us say, LM, right? So now in triangle NML, UV are the midpoints, right? So this means UV would be parallel to, let us say, NM, and UV would be, let us say, half of NM, right? UV would be parallel and UV would be half, and NM is already half of QR, right? So UV would be half of QR, right? So that is why UV would be what? 1/4 of QR. So that is why option number B, है ना बच्चों? So that is why option number B would be correct. अभी इसका एक और मेथड हम कर सकते हैं, इसका एक और मेथड वी कैन डू, है ना? इसका हम एक और मेथड, if possible we can also do this. Let us check whether we can apply another concept to this question. So this was the triangle, right? And कुछ ऐसा था हमारे पास में. let us check whether हम इसका दूसरा कॉन्सेप्ट का मेथड हम यूज कर सकते हैं क्या. PQR is there, right? PQR, most of the students sometimes try to prove two triangles to be congruent, है ना? So NML and UV, NML, and let us say this is what? This is U, this is V, this is U, this is V, right? Now we have to prove that this U is the midpoint, right? We have to prove this U is the midpoint. This U is the midpoint, we have to prove this, right? Now M is the midpoint, so this means QM is median. So iska matlab this angle 1 would be equal to angle 2, correct? Right? And this, let us say this side QU is common. Angle 1 is equals to angle 2. QU is common, right? QU is common. So now in triangle NQNL, right? In triangle QNL, what we do? We can see that since this angle 1 is equals to angle 2, so U would be the midpoint. Yes or no? So this means what? This means what? U would be the midpoint, right? अगर ये angle 1 ये angle 2 है तो ये तो midpoint हो गया ना U. Yes or no बेटा? So congruence proof करने की तो जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी हमको. Yes or no? So that is why we can say that U is the midpoint. Similarly, we can also get V is the midpoint, because ये angle और ये angle equal होगा, because NR is the median, So ये भी इस triangle के लिए median हो जाएगा, right? Because this is the angle bisector, है ना? Median ही angle bisector होता है किसी भी triangle में. Now we can easily get U and V midpoint. Join them, apply the midpoint theorem. So in triangle NLM, UN is what? UN is again half of NM. और NM क्या है? NM is half of QR. तो half of half क्या हो जाता है बेटा? 1/4. So that is why 1/4 option हमारा सही है. Okay, I hope everybody liked this question. Now we can move on to solve the next question for today's class. We can move on to the next question, where PQRS is a parallelogram. M and N are the midpoints of sides PQ and RS respectively. If XY is any line intersecting PS, M and Q are at X, O and Y respectively, such that XY is parallel to PQ, then find the ratio in which O divides line XY. तो सबसे पहला अटेम्प्ट क्या है हमारा? सबसे पहला अटेम्प्ट है कि हमको एक फिगर डेवलप करना है, एक possible diagram we have to develop. We have to develop a possible diagram so that we can understand what all, let us say, concepts or details are given in the question. So first thing is draw a parallelogram PQRS. So PQRS को हमको एक डायग्राम में पैरेललोग्राम बनाना है, right? So PQRS, let us say, is a parallelogram. Let us say this is PQRS. Now what is given? M and N are midpoints of PQ and RS. M and N are midpoints. So this means PM is equals to SN, है ना? चलो इसको भी ज्वाइन करवा देते हैं. So again PMSN would be definitely a parallelogram. PMSN is also a parallelogram, right? है ना? Because opposite sides are parallel and equal. So PS would be equal to, let us say, MN, है ना? PS is equals to MN. चलो ये हमको अभी तक मिल गया है. Now XY is any line intersecting PS, MN, QR at X, O and Y. Intersecting PS, MN and QR at X, O and Y. Let us say this is X, this is O and Y, है ना? Such that XY जो है किसके पैरेलल है? XY किसके पैरेलल है? PQ के. बेटा if XY is parallel to PQ then this means it will be definitely parallel to SR also. ठीक है, चलो, है ना? Now this is parallel, है ना? Parallel है तो मतलब this would be equidistant to PQ and SN. Yes or no? This would be equidistant. This would be equidistant. So if this is equidistant, we can simply say that XO would be equal to what? PM, है ना बच्चों? क्योंकि why we are saying this बच्चों? Why we are saying this बच्चों? क्योंकि PM के पैरेलल है XY, PM के पैरेलल है और इसके भी पैरेलल हो गई और SR के भी पैरेलल है, right? And since these two are already parallel, this PS and MN are already parallel, so this means that what? PMXO would be a parallelogram. A parallelogram, opposite sides are equal, yes or no? So XO is equals to PM. Similarly we can say that, similarly we can also prove this for other half as well, right? So MQ would be equal to OY also, yes or no? XO is equals to PM and MQ is equals to OY. अब since M is the midpoint तो PM is already equal to MQ ना? PM is already equal to MQ, right? So what we can understand from these three? What we can understand from these three is what? What we can understand from these three is this XO would be equal to what? OY. This XO would be equal to OY, right? So O is dividing line in the ratio what? 1:1 na? So O divides, this O divides line XY into this ratio. That is what? 1:1. सी बेटा XO PM के बराबर है, MQ OY के बराबर है, लेकिन PM is equals to MQ, right? So from these three equations we can get XO is equals to OY. Now if I take XO upon OY, so ratio would be simply 1:1, right? Ratio would be simply 1:1, right? So that is why option B should be correct. Now this is the bonus question for today's class. This is the bonus question for today's class, right? Find the ratios of angles DEF, triangle DEF formed by joining the midpoints of the sides ABC. Triangle ABC की midpoints को join करके हमने एक triangle बनाया, that is DEF. So this side and this side is equal. These two sides are equal and these three sides are equal, right? Now since DE and F are the midpoints, right बेटा? So इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब AFDE parallelogram. AFDE is a parallelogram, right? AFDE is a parallelogram. Similarly, DEBF is a parallelogram, right? And similarly, what we can also say, This is also a parallelogram. This is also a parallelogram, right? So now what we can see, in a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. In a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. So this is what, this is 40, this is what, this is 80, and this is what, this is simply 60, right? So DEF का क्या हो गया? This is 80, this is what, this is 40, and this is what, this is 60. So DEF का रेशियो निकालना है. We have to calculate D is to E is to F. So आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? 80 is to 40 is to 60, correct? DEF. So 8 is to 4 is to 6. What we can simply get? 4 is to 2 is to 3 would be the ratio. Yes or no, bachcho? 4 is to 2 is to 3 would be the ratio for this. We already learned, let us say, in the second last question, how to prove that this is a parallelogram. We already learned, hai na? We would not, let us say, we will only use, let us say, the midpoint theorem's concept, hai na? Midpoint theorem concept to prove that this is what, this is a parallelogram, right? So that's how we will solve this question, and we'll get the answer. 4 is to 2 is to 3. I hope everybody got this. So that is it for today's live stream session. Okay, Abhijit Das, you are here. Doubt. Can you please tell me what is your doubt? Abhijit Das, you are here. Doubt, beta. I'm so sorry, I could not see your live chat. I'm so sorry. Can you please tell me what is the doubt? Can you please share it in the live chat? What is the doubt? Abhijit Das, can you please share what is the doubt in the live stream? I'm so sorry, I could not see your live chat. Okay, I think Abhijit Das is not here. So let us end this live stream session, and we can continue with the next live stream session, and we can meet in the next class, hai na? We would be, let us say, seeing the, let us say, doubts or any other questions in the next live stream session of me and maths, right? So by that time, take care of yourself, keep practicing, and study well. So we'll be meeting in the next live stream session. Till then, take care, students. Have a good day. Bye bye.